Well, we miss our friend Mack Brown, but he's where he's supposed to be, back on the sidelines coaching football. The North Carolina football coach joins us now. Mack, before we get into some conversation here, how's Sally and the family? Everybody okay?
God, everybody's doing well. We just we're all so fortunate to have our first responders and heroes for all of us that are out there fighting the fight. And we're all sitting back on the couch trying to get ready to reopen some things. But praise the Lord for those people that we all call heroes right now. But everybody's safe and healthy here and doing well.
Well, that's good news. And you talk about getting up off the couch. North Carolina enters into phase 2. A lot of different states sort of have different places where they are as we get back to whatever normal is going to look like. North Carolina is one of many universities that's going to go back earlier and be done earlier in the fall. How significant are those pieces of news as it relates to you and your program and what's going on there in Chapel Hill?
Scott, it's really not that significant for us. We will get our direction from our chancellor, Kevin Gustowich, and our athletics director, Bubba Cunningham, and we think we'll get some answers pretty soon. And ours will just be reentry. When do we bring the players back? How do we bring them back? And there's so many unanswered questions right now for all of us, simply because there's not a playbook for this. It's all new. So how do you bring the players back? When do you test them? How often do you test them? Do you check their temperature before they come in the building? What happens if you get one that has a test show up that we've got a negative and someone is infected with a disease? And how do we meet? How do you high five? How do you hug with social distancing as a football program? How do you eat in a training table? What happens after practice in your locker room? So right now we're answering all those questions to make sure that our players are safe before we bring them back.
And as you're listing them, you know what's crazy, Mack, is each question leads to another 5 questions you didn't think of until you answer that first one. And that's why I don't envy anybody, because I don't necessarily know that we're going to know definitively that the answers are correct. We're just going to have to try to move forward. And it is interesting on this day, Coach, it's 100 days out, you know, and I look at the beginning of your schedule, and I know how you guys operate. 100 days doesn't seem like it's enough time if you guys were together working. So how do you put your time to work as you're not with your guys?
Well, what we've done is our staff's done an incredible job of working with our players with Zoom and texting and FaceTime, and we've had a lot of guest speakers come in and talk to our team, and those have been incredible. And our players, some of them haven't even had places to work out, and they've put books in their backpacks, and they're running with their backpack on, and they're doing squats with a backpack on. Some have put sand in them for the Florida guys. So it's just been it's been really heartwarming to see how hard the guys are working and want to get back. And I've called just about all of our players over the last week myself and said, "Are you okay with coming back?" Because who knows, some players may not feel safe. They may not want to come back. Or staff members, are you okay with coming back? And right now, to every player that we've had said, "Coach, I can't wait. I know you're going to take care of us. I know it's going to be safe, and I can't wait to get back." And then whether you have 6 weeks before you start or 4 weeks before you start, you've got to go back and have your summer workouts to get yourself prepared to start practice in August.
I had a conversation with Coach Saban earlier this week, and he talked about how for young players, that's going to be the biggest sort of catch-up for the young players that don't get a chance to have spring ball or whatever else. I want to ask you a different version of that question. How much of an advantage do you believe it'll be to have a guy like Howell at your quarterback and some known entities and some continuity there so that when you get back, you're not learning a bunch of stuff as much as you're just sort of remembering what you already know?
Yeah, Scott, we've got 8 of our 10 staff members back, so that really helps us to have that continuity. And we've got 10 of 11 starters back on offense. So we've got our running backs who both had one had 1,000 plus and one 900 and something. We've got 2 or 3 receivers that had a great year. We only lost Charlie Hecht in the offensive line to the Houston Texans in the draft. So we really feel like that our biggest question mark this spring was depth. Because a lot of those young guys that Nick was talking about, we need to play. And we didn't get to see them in spring, or young guys on our team. We had 13 early enrollees. Those guys, we didn't have a practice. So thank goodness we did have a bowl practice. That helps us a little bit. But we're going to have to catch up a lot and be simple with our backups, definitely with those young guys coming in the fall.
Kevin Nagandi is going to kill me, but I'm going to have some fun here. Who'd you play in that bowl game again? Who was that?
It was the Temple Owls, and I think Kevin hires all their coaches.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. And
How many
I
did
didn't
y'all
think he'd
score?
speak to me.
How many did y'all score, Matt?
It was a lot to a little. So, and Temple had a really good team, Scott. So but we were a good team at the end of the year, and that's why we go to Central Florida in the opener. We've got Auburn in a neutral contest in Atlanta the second week. So we're going to find out how good we are fast.
Well, you guys got momentum, and you win a bowl game, and, man, have you carried it into the offseason. This is a dumb rule. You can't talk about anybody specifically when it comes to recruiting. So let's just talk in general terms. You all are destroying the trail right now. What have you found to be the message that's resonating, or whether it's Carolina? What is it that has worked so well with your vision for these young guys that are going to be coming to Chapel Hill next year?
Well, Scott, first, it's a great place. And Sally and I came in with a lot of familiarity with the place. Mm-hmm. We know the state. We know the university. A lot of the high school coaches are still working with their sons, and a lot of people at the university. The vice president was one of our equipment managers. So it's been fun to go back and renew some old relationships and start some new ones. And then secondly, we hired a staff that was very familiar with the state as well. I said, if you hire a guy and he can't find Charlotte or Greensboro, you're in trouble. So we hired guys that have recruited this state for 10 to 15 years. And last year we were recruiting on hope. We hope we can win. We hope the fans will come. Well, we sold out every game. We were in every game. We had a chance to win. So now we're selling facts. And it's really, really helped us. And we've got our footprint. Most of the guys we've committed are in state right now, and that helps us with a pandemic because they want to stay close to home. But we've got a really good footprint from D.C. to Atlanta, and there's a lot of good football players in this area that we feel like we have a chance to get.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.